The group stood amidst the ruins of Thornmere Square, the air heavy with the acrid scent of sulfur and ash. Though the Archfiend had been vanquished, its presence lingered like a stain on the land. Villagers whispered prayers and huddled together, their eyes flickering between the strange band of heroes and the scorched earth left behind. "We need answers," Kata said, her voice cutting through the uneasy silence. She wiped soot from her shield, her brow furrowed in thought. That thing didn't attack without purpose. Someone, or something, is controlling these forces. "It's him," Rorden said flatly, leaning heavily on his staff. His glowing green eyes dimmed slightly as he seemed to sag under the weight of his words. "Nevermore." Elric's gaze darted toward the skeleton. "The Oathbreaker? But isn't he just a story, a legend to frighten children?" Rorden turned his hollow gaze to Elric, the humor that usually colored his voice absent. "Stories have roots in truth, boy. Nevermore was real and far more dangerous than any child's tale could ever capture." The group gathered in town's abandoned meeting hall as Rorden began to recount the tale. The firelight flickered against the worn walls, casting long shadows as the skeletal mage spoke. "Nevermore was once the protector of Elendor," Rorden said, his voice low and even. "Bound by oath to defend the land from all threats, he was a hero of unmatched power and resolve. But heroes are not immune to weakness." Lyra nodded, her runes glowing faintly as she listened. "The betrayal. It's written in the histories. Nevermore made a pact with a necromancer, didn't he?" "Yes," Rorden confirmed, his skeletal fingers tightening on his staff. "The necromancer promised him the power to save Erendor from an encroaching darkness, but it was a lie. The power corrupted him, twisting his purpose. He broke his sacred oath, and with it, the very balance of the land." Dane leaned forward, his scarred armor glinting in the firelight. "What happened to him?" "No one knows for certain," Rorden replied. "Some say he vanished into the shadows, consumed by the power he unleashed. Others claim he was sealed away, his punishment for unleashing chaos upon the world. But this attack," he gestured toward the window, where smoke still rose from the square, "proves he's stirring again." "And the necromancer?" Kata asked, her tone sharp. "If they're the one who started all this, are they still out there?" "Likely," Rorden said, his voice grim. "And worse, they may be the one pulling the strings." "Wonderful," Kale muttered, leaning back in his chair with his feet on the table. "So let me get this straight. We've got a corrupted legend and an ancient necromancer to deal with. Sounds like a death sentence." "It's more than that," Lyra said, her expression serious. "If Neremore's power grows unchecked, it won't stop with Thornmere. The entire land will fall." Elric shifted uncomfortably. "But why us? Why are we the ones who have to stop it? Shouldn't this be a job for kings and armies?" "Kings and armies don't deal with shadows," Dane said, his voice like steel. "They crumble under them." Kata stood, her shield resting on the table. "The attack on Thornmere wasn't random. The Archfiend came here for a reason. If we follow the trail, it will lead us to the source, and to Nevermore." "The source will be where he fell," Rorden said, his hollow voice tinged with unease. "A place hidden in the depths of Worm's Reach Forest, the site of the broken oath." A heavy silence fell over the group. The Worm's Reach was a place of myth and dread, its dense woods rumored to be haunted by all manner of creatures, few who entered its depths ever returned. "We'll need supplies," Korn said, breaking the silence. The healer's voice was calm, but his eyes betrayed his worry. "And a plan." "And courage," Lyra added, her gaze settling on each member of the group. "A great deal of it." "Good thing I've got plenty," Kale said with a grin, though the others could hear the unease behind his bravado. Elric hesitated, the weight of their task pressing heavily on him. He had never intended to be part of something so grand, so dangerous, but he looked around the room at the others, their resolve, their weariness, their determination. He felt the faint stirrings of courage. Perhaps he was not as prepared as they were, but he was here, and that had to count for something. "Worm's Reach, then," Dane said, standing and gripping his sword. "Let's see if legends can bleed." As the group dispersed to prepare for their journey, Rordan lingered by the fire, staring into the flames. Elric paused, watching the skeletal mage for a moment before speaking. "Do you think we really can stop him?" Elric asked quietly. Rordan didn't look up. "I've been alive long enough to know one thing, boy. Nothing is ever truly stopped, but if we're lucky, we might delay it, and sometimes that's enough." With that, Rordan turned and walked into the shadows, his staff glowing faintly as he disappeared into the night. Elric stood alone for a moment, the words sinking into him, before heading out into the cold to join the others. Tomorrow their path would take them to the heart of Worm's Reach, and into the depths of an ancient, broken promise.